if I could break it down, the beautiful thing about being here with this group is I can use some of the lingo, right? And how I'm working with it these days is really the big three. And what I mean by that is there's first, our connection to self. So healthy masculinity is grounded, stable, present, and just here, non-reactive in a lot of ways. It's also then, in the second person, open. So it's actually deeply sensitive. It's connected to the system, the relationships it's a part of. And this is a thing I think a lot of guys don't get is like the most badass men I know, they are actually exquisitely sensitive. Their capacity to feel themselves and feel others is very, very high. And then the third thing I'd add is there's also an awareness piece of the system, right? There's myself, how I'm showing up in it. There's us, the we, the relationship we're in. And then there's an awareness of the system I'm embedded in, the it and the its. But so this new kind of healthy masculinity, it's deeply powerful and it's deeply vulnerable. And as I like to say, leadership in this arena actually comes from vulnerability. And what I mean by that, it's the willingness to go first, to open first. That's one area we as men these days can really start to change things. I work with a lot of guys in relationships, right? And their partners, their women, end up having to lead the relationship emotionally.
Sure.
And it gets so bad that they got to say, hey, this isn't working. But for us men, the ability to step in and open first, to be vulnerable, and to take responsibility, the other thing I'll share, for our wounding. Again, we can kind of use three perspectives there is, a first stage relationship is going to be I-oriented, me. Second stage, where a lot of relationships are these days and where a lot of nice guys are at, is us and you, right? Oh, I want to make sure it's fair and I want to make sure you get everything you need. And that's where a lot of the world is at. And that's a huge evolution. It's actually a great thing to be have relationship as fairness. I think the next step, the place that everybody is trying to navigate right now is when it's no longer about necessarily just me and you, but what do we need? So what is this unique entity, which is a relationship that is bigger and includes both of us? What does it need in this moment? And I might be like, fuck, I don't want to admit that. Fuck, I don't want to, right? I don't want to. But oh my God, my relationship needs me to step forth here and to own this or to claim this or to share this. And the interesting thing about that is when both partners are in that, sometimes both partners are stepping into things that they don't want, they don't need. It doesn't feel good all the time. It's like, fuck, I don't want to be standing here with you right now, but I am. Every bone in my body wants to run out the door and be pissed at you and make a case as to why you're wrong. But instead, I want to be here and I want to own you. Right? You know what? You're right. I can feel there was a part of me that wasn't totally straight with you, or whatever it might be. And that generates something different when we're holding that, at the deepest version is, as they would say, is not even just what do we need, but what do consciousness and love. What is it calling for in this moment? It's not about me. It's not about you. It's about that.
And I also want to reflect a caution to people in the audience, which is I've seen more than one really shitty men's group that I've been called into as an outside, quote unquote expert, like, hey, will you come and monitor our group? And I would say the typical experience that I have, if I was to say one of the singular experiences I've had, is that it's a bunch of really nice guys who are in a group being really nice with each other, who are gently trying to show up. And, I sort of look at them and I say, y'all are fucking afraid to challenge each other. If you're not safe to challenge each other in this men's group, you're definitely not challenging your wife. You're definitely not challenging your boss. If you're not showing up here with some risk and some skin on the table, what are you doing? What are you practicing? How to be a nicer guy in the world? Like, do we need more nice guys? We really don't need more nice guys, to your point. They're not effective at doing anything but rolling over. I mean, is that better than the first type of guy? Yeah, it is, but it's still not very helpful, right? And to your point, in a different conversation you and I had, the world is calling for more masculine in the world, and that doesn't mean it's calling for more nice guys. It's calling for this third way where I can be penetrative but attuned, where I can be masculine but soft, where I can listen with all three parts of my being and body. and be responsive in that, where I can take radical responsibility.
What we're pointing towards here, and there's a subtle thing here I want to really name, which is, it's not like falling on the sword like a nice guy. Everything is my fault.
It's not. I'm taking the blame.
Exactly.
I'm taking the responsibility.
Huge difference for hundreds of thousands of years, a lot of men caused a lot of damage. Mm-hmm. It's just true to people, to kids, to the planet.
Sure.
I didn't cause that. That's not my fault.
Sure.
But if we're going to get ourselves out of this fucking mess, I do want to help take responsibility to change it, to change how our men are interfacing with women, to change how men are interfacing with the planet, to change how men are interfacing with the kids. I want to take that responsibility on. It's not my fault those things caused, but if every man did that, oh my God, like this, I mean, overnight, like so much would shift. Women cannot save this planet alone. I'm a pretty firm believer in that. Men need to step forward and get on the battlefield and say, hey, this shit's got to stop.
And for the guys that are listening to this that are single, like I can only tell you my experience with women is like when you start to do this work, you are so fucking different from most guys that they are blown away by your presence. And to you, you're not really doing anything but just sort of being yourself. But this is in such short supply that I know a dozen women off the top of my head that are amazing, accomplished, beautiful, successful, and they're single because all the men they're around with are some version of boy men. Grown men who don't know how they fucking feel, don't know how to communicate, don't know how to take responsibility. And these are like successful, wealthy men that are accomplished in our culture, but they're fucking backwards emotionally. They're like boys, right? So my point is that it's like part of doing this work is also that you not only become a healing force in the world, in your own life and in your partnerships, but if you're single, it actually helps you get the thing you want, which is real partnership.
Yeah.
Because there's such a shortage of it, of men out there that are doing this kind of work.
Oh my God. My wife works with women and it's legit. I tell men come to me and they start working with me and I'm like, you don't even realize what a scarce resource you are. A man who is taking responsibility for himself and his growth and is trying to get better, it's still pretty rare in the world. And then particularly when that man also learns to embody himself and get in touch with his power, like that, it is rare. It is a rare thing. Yeah. And it's such a powerful thing that, again, the world just needs a lot more of it. And I love working with men around this for this very reason, because it does change things. And I tell every guy I work with, every man you build a relationship with, whether it's in men's group or men's work, that is an investment in your future or existing partner and family. Because they think, I don't have time, I can't do it. And I'm like, trust me, you build these relationships, you're going to show up as a better father, as a better lover, as a better man, and it will pay dividends for years. For years. It's certainly changed my life.
Yeah.